Right now in America today, we're seeing inflation at all-time highs. In fact, many are calling this an opportunity to see some hyperinflation for the first time in a long time. Hyperinflation is not good. If the dollar experiences hyperinflation, it could be poised to be worse than we expect. In fact, there's a lot of people around the world that use the dollar as the world reserve currency. And if the dollar loses its value, it may lose its position as the world reserve currency. If that happens, there's only one asset that I really trust and that I know has stood the test of time. One asset that has lasted for thousands of years that no fiat currency has ever been able to replace. And that asset is what we're going to talk about in this video. Welcome to the channel. My name is Paris Clough, and I absolutely love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. In this video, I'm going to share with you ways to protect your money and to protect your assets against inflation and hyperinflation. For thousands and thousands of years, people have used gold and silver and other precious metals as a medium of exchange. In fact, the very first bartering that we know about was bartering with seashells and other things, but eventually got to the point where these precious metals were used as coins and became the most prolific way to exchange goods and services in history. No other fiat currency, no economy, nothing has ever surpassed what gold and silver can do. In fact, it's been historically proven that when economies are built on gold and silver and then slowly replace that with fiat currencies, that those economies slowly deteriorate to the point where they often collapse and are replaced by new world currencies that eventually get built up and replaced by gold and silver. Once again, gold and silver being the foundational real money, the money that I believe God put on this earth for us to actually use. Dollar bills are nice, ones, fives, tens, 20s, hundreds, they're nice, but there's nothing like gold and silver. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how gold and silver can be used as a medium of exchange. The first thing I want to do though is I want to share with you the reality of what's going on in what used to be a first world country that's now not. It's actually a second or third world country as economies go. This is in Venezuela right now, or recently. So Venezuelans break off flakes of gold to pay for meals and haircuts. So you can literally see that there's a guy right here putting into a weight. He's actually putting it on a scale. He's using the bill that he would normally use to collect the gold that he's then pouring into this weight to be able to pay for things in his particular city, in his area. And what they have to do is they have to take jewelry and other forms of gold and they have to chip away flakes to be able to get to a certain amount of weight to be able to have the value necessary to exchange for the good or service in this particular city in Venezuela. In fact, going to the grocery store, they're using gold instead of their currency because the value of their currency, hyperinflation, has stripped the local currency of its value. And that's something that could happen to us as the United States right now, we're really on that verge and on that edge where we're looking at not being the world reserve currency anymore. If the dollar loses its value or loses its position as the world reserve currency, what's going to replace it? However, in this video, I do want to share with you something that will revolutionize the way we use gold and silver as a medium of exchange. And that's something called the Goldback. The Goldback is actually a note that is backed by gold. And frankly, it's literally made from gold. It's actual gold. It's a note made by gold. And so before I get into what the Goldback is and how it's made and show you a few of them, I actually want to talk to you about why it's necessary to have gold in way lower fractions of an ounce or fractions so that you can actually use it as a medium of exchange. So this right here, as I'm showing you, that's a 1 ounce coin. That's about a 2,000, depending on the day, depending on what gold is going for. You could pick that up for about $1,900 to $2,000 right now. You don't want to go to the grocery store with a gold 1 ounce coin. That's small enough to fit in your pocket and take to the grocery store, but that's the kind of a coin you'd put 3 or 4 of those together and go buy a car with that. You wouldn't buy a gallon of milk or something. So even a half an ounce, which is a much smaller coin, half of that is still $1,000. And then you have these quarter of an ounce, which is still $400 or $500 depending on the day. And then you even have these 1/10 ounces. And the 1/10 ounces are really small. It's about the size of my fingernail. I don't know if you can see it. Let me put my hand up so you can kind of see that coin. So these coins, that's still $200 or $300. That's not something you want to go grocery shopping with necessarily. So it can be kind of daunting to be able to find it. Well, you can get grams of gold. You can get 1 ounce, you can get 1 grams, 2 grams, 5 grams, 10 grams, and those grams actually give you the opportunity to buy things. But still, even a gram of gold is going to be a couple, 20, 30 bucks. So how do you exchange it realistically? And for example, a gallon of milk, $3 or $4 a gallon of milk. What do you do to buy that? And so this company answers that question. The company that created Goldbacks answered that question by making these Goldback notes. I think it's one of the greatest inventions in terms of precious metals and being able to exchange precious metals ever to come around. In 2019, this company called Goldbacks, they came out with a Goldback note. And this is an example of a Goldback note. This is 1/1000th of an ounce. So this is 0.03 grams. So that's a fantastically small amount of gold, 1/1000th of an ounce. This right here is as a medium of exchange, and I'll share with you in a minute the website to go and see kind of what the dollar amount equivalent is. And but in reality, you could literally exchange this for whatever anybody's willing to offer you for it. So this 1/1000th of an ounce of gold is something that you can walk into a farmer's market, or you can walk into a business where the owner is right there, and you can say, listen, I've got this Goldback note. I'd like to be able to buy some things in your store. Do you accept that? Will you accept this as an exchange? And if they know and understand the importance and power of gold and precious metals, you're probably going to be able to buy a lot more with that Goldback note than you would with a dollar bill, because they know that over time that Goldback note is going to increase in value. It's going to appreciate in value because it's an actual in value investment. It's one of the cool things about Goldbacks is, in fact, they're saying on one of their stickers, and I'll show it to you right here, the saying that they have on their sticker says Goldbacks because inflation is for suckers. And that's true. The dollar bill is inflated so bad right now that the value of a $20 bill today is you can buy a lot less than you could when 10 or 20 years ago. So that's what the problem is with fiat currencies, where with Goldback notes today, when this first came out in 2019, I think this Goldback as an exchange was about $2 or $3. Today, this one Goldback note is this 1/1000th is almost $4 in value. So one of the cool things about this one Goldback note is over time, it's going to appreciate in value. You're going to be able to buy more things with it. So if you can convince a business owner to exchange with you, you're going to be able to say, look, in the future, this is going to be worth more than it is today. Unlike the dollar bill, which goes the opposite direction. So they have each one of these notes is what's called a voluntary local currency. And so in Utah, where I live, they have the Utah gold note. They have one in Nevada and New Hampshire as well, and they're coming out with Wyoming. So they also have what's called the Goldback 5. So this is not a $5 bill. It's 5 1/1000ths of an ounce, or 1/200th of an ounce. They also have a 10. So I don't know if you can see that in the screen here. I'm trying to make sure you can see it. They have a 10 1/1000ths of an ounce, or 1/100th of an ounce. And then they have a 25. And each one of these I'm picking up, it's heavier and heavier. You can feel the difference. Like the gold is only so much. The 5, you can feel it a little heavier. The 10 is a little heavier. This 25 now, the 25 1/1000ths, or it's 1/40th of an ounce of gold. You can feel it. This is thicker. This is heavier. And then the 50 1/1000ths of an ounce, or 1/20th of an ounce. This one is solid. Like you can feel the thickness on this one, but the graphics are beautiful. They all have their own serial numbers. It's actual real gold, and if you come up to a business owner or you go to a place to exchange these Goldbacks, you can actually buy a gallon of milk. Let me show you here on Goldbacks.com. So if you were to go to Goldback.com, Goldback.com, and you were to look at the first front page here, it would say one Goldback, or 1/1000th of an ounce, is currently exchangeable right now as an average exchange rate. You can see right here it says average exchange rate is $3.78. Just the other day it was $3.85. The reason why the fluctuation is because the price of gold has come down a little bit. Well, if this last year or a couple years ago, this one Goldback was in the $2 range. So as you can see, these appreciate in value, these grow in value, again, because inflation is for suckers. So do you want to have money? Do you want to have actual exchangeable money that appreciates in value, that 1 year, maybe your note is worth $1 amount, and then a year later it's worth more than that? Wouldn't that be a difference in how we deal with our money in the economy? Imagine being able to walk into a store a year later and say, I can buy more with this than before. Today, if you take a $20 bill into a store, you can buy less with it than you could a year ago or 2 years ago. That's the difference. I used to be able to buy 4 or 5 gallons of gas with a $20 bill. Today, you're looking at 1 or 2 gallons. I mean, the way it's headed, it's almost like 3, maybe 4 gallons. You could buy more before than you could. And that's the case with fiat currency, but with gold and gold backs like this, you're going to be able to buy more because gold appreciates in value over time. Now it does fluctuate up and down, so you're going to have a little bit of that fluctuation. And so what they do is they look across all of the different places that are selling the gold backs, and they find the average or the average exchange rate for that, and you can actually see that it's $3.78. Here's what they can do. So if you go to a store and the owner wants to be able to, you walk up to the owner and the owner says, yeah, I'll take that. What is the value of it right now? Kind of give me an idea of what to base my value on. So you literally put in here and you say, look, you know, the amount owned in US dollars, you put that here. It'll tell you how many gold backs that will equate to. Then they tell you, then you give them the number of gold backs. Now, often because business owners who recognize and understand the value of gold, what they'll do is they'll recognize, wait a minute, I don't need to get more than what I need. I can actually get less than what I need of these gold backs from this guy. And over time, this is going to appreciate in value and I'll be better off. So I've had people tell me all the time, I haven't personally used Goldbacks yet. I'm going to have my first opportunity to ask a business owner this next Thursday if he will take Goldbacks. But the guys that I've been talking to, I actually met the vice president of Goldbacks. I went down to their actual location because it's just about 40 minutes from my house. And I sat down and I talked with the guys. I actually sat down with the guy who runs, he's one of the educators there at Alpine Gold. And then I met the vice president of Goldback. His name is Kevin, and he's a fantastic guy. He's just a really neat guy, very knowledgeable. I sat down with him and I've been drilling him with questions. I've been calling him on his cell phone, asking some questions. And he basically told me some stories about how he went to the chiropractor the other day. The chiropractor accepted the Goldbacks, and he did this exchange calculator here, and the chiropractor accepted fewer Goldbacks than what was necessary just because it was gold. He actually got away with paying less than he needed to because he was paying with actual gold, and the chiropractor recognized the value of the gold, and gave him a deal. So what about that? What about going to these places where these business owners can give you these kinds of deals because they recognize that you're paying with something that actually has intrinsic value? Imagine that. Imagine that. That's what I'm excited about Goldbacks. So I'm going to go this Thursday. I have an appointment with my mechanic to take my car in, and I know the business owner is there. Like he owns it. It's not like one of these places where it's a big box or a franchise or one of these places where, you know, they're all over the country. This guy owns the one here locally. And so it's a perfect opportunity to me to talk to these guys and say, hey, would you be willing to accept Goldbacks as a form of exchange for your services? And if they do, I'm going to see if they'll give me a deal. What do you think? Do you think the Goldbacks will catch on? Do you think there's a deal? There's an opportunity for you to use Goldbacks? Put in the comments below if you would be willing to use or exchange Goldbacks, if you see the value here. If you have Goldbacks, do you own Goldbacks? Have you bought Goldbacks? Where have you bought them? And I'd love to know what your experience has been with Goldbacks. Have you used the Goldbacks somewhere and gotten a deal? Put in the comments below, let me know what you've got. Also, if you're interested in getting Goldbacks yourself, go to goldback.com or send me an email at hello@financialselfreliance.net and put in the subject line Goldbacks, and I'll see what I can do to get you some Goldbacks, and we'll talk about ways for you to get some Goldbacks into your hands so that you can start using real money, gold and silver, real sound money to exchange for goods and services in your life. I hope you got a lot out of this video. I hope that you see the excitement that I have for Goldbacks. I hope that you can get excited about Goldbacks. If you missed the last video that I produced, you can catch it here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel up here. And if you want to catch a video that YouTube thinks you might like, go ahead and click this one up here. Until the next time, have a great day and continue to grow your financial literacy.